fallout from President Biden's controversial prisoner swap with Russia 8 days ago, setting a very dangerous precedent for Americans traveling overseas. That, according to former Director of National Intelligence Rick Griner. The exchange, WNBA star Brittney Griner for Russian arms dealer Victor Bout, being finalized on Thursday, while former U.S. Marine Paul Whelan remains in a Russian prison after being arrested in 2018 in Moscow when he was in town for a friend's wedding. Joining me now for more, member of the Senate Homeland Security Committee, Oklahoma Senator James Lankford, back with us. Senator, good morning. Good to see you again.
Good morning. Merry Christmas to you as well.
You too. Merry Christmas, Senator. First off, I want to get your take on this exchange and what you make of this NBC News report out over the weekend that the Biden administration apparently had a choice, either Whelan or Griner, and they chose Griner.
Yeah, well, the truth will come out. I'm a firm believer that what's whispered in the secret place will one day be able to come out and be shouted from the housetops. So we'll all know in the days ahead exactly what happened behind the scenes. The biggest issue on this is not exactly how they worked the trade for the other person. It's that they had the merchant of death as the person that they were actually trading for in the process on this. You've got DEA agents, you've got federal officials that literally risked their lives to be able to go arrest this person who was deliberately trying to be able to target Americans, to be able to kill them, who's an international arms dealer, who now is going to go back to Russia and is going to help them go chase down international arms to go fight against Ukraine. This is an absurd trade that should have never even been on the table in the first place.
The Russian media has been praising Vladimir Putin for the past week, saying that he has, just amazing negotiating skills making a deal like this, while mocking President Biden at the same time. How does this make us look on the global stage today? And the point that Rick Grinnell was making, are Americans less safe today traveling overseas? Maybe not to countries in Western Europe, but to places like Russia and China. Does this set a dangerous precedent?
No question it sets a dangerous precedent, and also no question it makes America look weaker. What the president did a year ago in Afghanistan was humiliating on the world stage. This is another event that is like that the world stage will look at the United States and say they used to be strong, they used to be powerful negotiators. They are no longer that. There's no one in the world in any country that's going to look at this exchange and is going to say that was a great exchange for the Americans. They're going to say the Americans looked weak in that, which we did. And that's the challenge now for every country, whether it's Iran, whether it's North Korea, whether it's Russia, whether it's China, whether it's Venezuela. Any American in any of those locations now is at great risk because they can be scooped up at any point and then just be held for any political prisoner those countries want.
Yeah, that's scary. Used as bargaining chips down the road. I want to talk about the Senate. An interesting week last week. Republicans losing that seat in Georgia. Herschel Walker losing to Raphael Warnock. And then at the end of the week, Kyrsten Sinema out in Arizona, she says, I'm an independent. I'm no longer a Democrat. Was this a win for Republicans in the Senate, or do you think this sets up, a red versus purple battle in 2024 for her Senate seat?
It will definitely set up an interesting race in Arizona as well. I don't blame Kyrsten Sinema for looking at what's happening in the Democrat Party and saying, I can't be a part of this anymore. So there are quite a few Democrats that have looked around the country that have said they've gone far, far away from what Democrats used to be able to stand for. And so she's stepping out and saying, I'm not going to be a part of this party politics. I'm going to try to be an independent. She's always been very independent. She votes more consistently on the left by far. But she's also been a person that's been very outspoken. She was the one that held back the filibuster, for instance. Democrats wanted to be able to pack the Supreme Court. They wanted to be able to make D.C. a state. They wanted to get rid of the filibuster. They were going to try to ram everything through. She was the one that stood in the way of all that and said that's wrong to do. That's wrong to do as Americans. And she came out and said, I'm more of an American than a Democrat. She's now just made that official by saying I'm just an independent.
Senator, just a quick one. We've got about 15 seconds. Joe Biden with a big celebration. He had a cop-hating drag queen at the White House yesterday. They were celebrating the Respect for Marriage Act. Is this just a first step in what could be really dangerous, requiring churches to hold, weddings, gay marriage weddings, things like that down the road? Is this just a first step in what the Democrats are really planning to do?
So the statute itself does not allow, or I should say does allow, churches, synagogues, mosques to not perform same-sex weddings. But what it also sets up is a new right to sue people if you disagree. If you work with a nonprofit or a company that partners with the government in any way then a same-sex couple could then sue you and say they were harmed by you if you disagree with them on the issue of same-sex marriage. So this is going to unleash a flurry of lawsuits all over the country to try to silence anyone who disagrees for religious reasons or any other conscience reasons with same-sex marriage.
With maybe a church's tax-exempt status on the line. It'll be interesting to see how that
very well
plays
could
out.
be.
Yeah, Senator, we'll stay on top of that. I know you will. Good to see you. If I don't see you, have a Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Merry Christmas as well.
All right, we've got a lot more